Okay, before this video completely starts, I know I haven't made a video in a long, long time, but that is not what this segment is about. It's just, a little intro, I think, because there's some things which could be confusing of when stuff is happening. So the original painting clips, the clips of me painting, are, I don't know, like 2 weeks old or something like that, close to that. And my the recording you're gonna watch right after this one. This is the one you're watching now. The thing you're gonna watch right after the next clip is gonna be from when I was an intern at an artist studio. I was studying under a different artist, and there's a short little clip of that. And of course, when you're watching me paint the painting, I have finished. I will talk about my experience being an intern there. So, yeah. I hope this makes sense. I just wanted to do some confusion. So if you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and comment and all that, stuff, because you kind of have to. If you want, you don't. I don't care. If you want to, you can. If you don't, that's fair too. But yeah, enjoy the video. Okay. Sorry for the hair. It's been wet and it's kind of drying, but not really. But what I'm doing right now is I'm at another artist studio because I'm like, what is it called? It's I'm studying under this artist. He's a Danish artist, so you probably don't know him, but he's pretty cool. And I've made some things. So there's, some of his art. It's much more, what is it called? Abstract than mine, but there's things to learn everywhere, and it's a good chance to learn something. So, yeah, for me. So that's what I've been doing and why I've been gone for almost a week. When this video comes out. Yeah, so just turn the camera. So you can see here's like he's been working on some stuff here. It's very abstract stuff there. There's some huge canvases, like really huge. It's like like really big. There's some other stuff here. It's really cool. I like it personally. I see like, there's this thing. Some more, just boards. Bunch of brushes and paint and pigments. And there's, some oil pastels and my coffee. And more stuff he's working on down here. An oil palette, which is like so inspiring because like, look at how much paint there's. Like great. It's great. More oil paint and there's more paintings here. There's stuff here, unfinished painting there. And stuff here. All right. I hope you understood some of what I was saying in the studio recording or the studio clip or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that was where I was working last week, where I made a painting. But I'll show that next time. I think I don't really know. Maybe I'll show. Well, you know what? I'll show it in this video, but I'll show it in the very end because that would be suspense. But yeah, the recording of this video, the recording of the painting here, which you're watching right now, I've had that finished, the painting finished for about a week or something, 2 weeks maybe, a week and a half probably is the right amount of time I've had the video finished. And to be honest, it's a long time. It's been a long time. But I start out like I do almost every painting with some abstract lines and some just filling outs with some, a smaller pencil. I think that gives the right amount of, depth and detail with the smaller pencil to where the abstract crazy lines kind of fix their own in a way. Because I also love that, if that makes sense. I've been getting really into lately making the ears or the eyes off center because I think it's unnatural, but it's not, what did you say? It's not too much. It's not too weird that the proportions get uncanny valley and not good to look at, but it's not so normal that it's boring. But you can see here I'm basically just playing. The closest thing I would call, it is playing with paint on the canvas, just doing something. And I think that's the way I like to start my paintings, and that's the way I think more people should start their paintings, with a little bit of randomness, or at least some associated randomness, where it's like maybe it's not completely random, but there's definitely room for, randomness and just, spur of the moment ideas that can change it all. Or at least I think that. But yeah. Sometimes I like the sketch more than the painting, which kind of is a problem of mine, because I want there to be the painting, but the sketch also really has some character and quality. So at to a point, it's like, okay, maybe I should just do the sketch. And maybe I will do that one. Maybe one day I'll just do sketches, or at least these type of sketches of my paintings, instead of actually finishing the paintings with color or anything. That could be cool. I think some people would like it, and especially with the dark background, seeping into the lighter areas of the contrast here, because when it's very, very light, you can almost see through to the black, so it becomes this weird bluish, whitish, beige color. Yeah, I hope that made any sense. But for me it did. Yeah. But on that note, I'll have to explain about the internship stuff. And with the internship stuff, I was really doing all that I could to learn. And I was asking around. Okay, I was thinking about who should I go to? Should I ask, to be my teacher, or at least my art teacher? So I asked the teacher that I have art class with. I said, do you know any artists who would like to have me as their intern, or at least just to study under them for 2 days or something like that? And she said, I know a couple of people, so it depends on where I go, but there wasn't anyone nearby. But I was like, that's fair. So I asked around my friends who I knew lived in some of the areas. So like, can I sleep at your house? Can I pay to sleep at your house or something like? And my friend, she had already one of our other friends. He was already staying at her house for his what is it called, internship thing. So she's like, yeah, just hop along. So now we were three people, well, two people who were staying at our friend's house for internship stuff, which was awesome. And the internship thing was cool. It was really nice. Lots of talking, lots of listening, lots of cups of coffee. And I did a painting, which I'll show at the very end, of course. I don't know if it's finished. It could be finished, but it also, it could not be. I can't really decide with myself. Some people say, you could work on it. And other people say, no, don't do a thing more. But I don't know. It depends on what I feel like. But I don't want to ruin it by doing too much, which is my biggest fear sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of talking about, art schools and all the stuff you can do, or just at least, isn't required, and how the stuff would affect your career and all sorts of things. All the boring stuff and all the exciting stuff, we talked about that, which I was really happy about that we talked about, because that was mostly what I needed. I didn't need, a teacher to tell me, how to be creative or something like that. I needed someone to tell me, okay, what can I do with my creativity or with my, abilities or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that most of it is in the hands of other people. So an important thing he said was to, associate with other artists and other creatives, because, you know, that's just that world. You got to get into that world. So, yeah. And of course, post more on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where the galleries are and the people with money, or at least the grown-ups. Yeah. Which, yeah, was a great 2 days, and we also visited other artists in the area of Aarhus, which is like Denmark's second biggest city, I think. Anyway, it was very cool seeing some different stuff, seeing some workshops, or well, not workshops, but studios, and then seeing some small exhibitions of some places, and, you know, just realizing that, yeah, there's actually a lot of people who do this, and also there's a lot of people who who doesn't live on their art, you know, who doesn't make all their income from selling art or doing other stuff art related, but a lot of people, you know, actually have a job, and then they do art part-time, which is also a possibility and something, you know, you should be thinking about. Could be the way for you. It depends, and it's really, like, you know, personal, and it's really, what is it called? You know, yeah, that's for you to decide, he said, at least. But it's, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, but it was great. It was really great. It was really nice, and I'm happy that I did it. Also, the day before the internship started, I was in Copenhagen listening to Bob Dylan, and, you know, hearing him live in Royal Arena, it was really great. He was 84, so, you know, he's an older man, and that's not a problem, but he's just old, you know. It's like, I love that he went on tour, and I love that I got to hear him, because he's one of my biggest idols and favorite artists, you know, ever. But I'm like, man, you should retire, because like, he's getting old, and his voice was rougher than usual, I guess. I don't think he warmed up before, and he was definitely, I wouldn't say struggling, but he's not his old self anymore. He's a new man. Not a new man, but he's just an older man who definitely does things different. But that doesn't mean it was bad. He played a lot of songs from his 2020 album, Rough and Rowdy Ways, which wasn't the best album he made. But he also played some popular songs of his. He wrote, you know, long time ago, like It Ain't Me, Babe, and It's All Over Now, Baby Blue, which are very great songs, and, you know, personally some of my favorites. But there's also some, you know, shining moments with the other songs, because he had a band which were very proficient and professional. They played, you know, very, very well. But his voice was still rough, I guess. But it was great. Was it economically smart? No, it was not the smartest move with my money, but it was great. It was really great. And I would say it was worth it, but we don't know. But we do know. I would say for me it was worth it, because he could, you know, he could die at any moment, because he's so old. So I'm just happy that I got to experience him in my lifetime. Which is a weird thing to say, I guess, but he's always just really old. Yeah. That's been the last couple of weeks, or last week, and other stuff. So now we're just going back to a kind of normal school day. But I realized the only thing I have Monday meeting, you know, at 10 or something like that. And then after that I have English, where in English we're watching a movie today for some reason. And after that we have, I don't know, some extra class thing, because we had to, the other students, the second year students, they were also on, what's it called? Internship. They also had internships at places. So we have to listen to them speak about where they went, you know, to be an intern and stuff like that. We had to do it last year, they're doing it this year. It makes sense. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be so interesting because like, yeah, cool, but I don't really care that much. But I understand why, because it was also, it's like, yeah, we get Monday. We don't have that much school on this Monday, so it's fine. And I have to work out after that, after school, because I haven't worked out in, I don't know, a week. But yeah, I haven't worked out in a week. Which, you know, not that it's the end of the world, but it is. At least I want to be as consistent as possible with my working out, because yeah, just I enjoy it. So I'm happy to be back and would be able to be working out. And since I have very little job, a very little job, but I don't have that much job work to do this week, I have plenty of time to work out, actually, at least most of them. But I can't party this weekend because I have to work. Well, I could, but not very much because I have to work. But that's life, I guess. But yeah, you can see I don't really finish it on camera, and that's just because I kind of forgot to. And it sucks to have to put up the camera to record myself paint or draw instead of just painting or drawing, especially painting, because sometimes I just do the smallest things on a painting, and then I don't feel like I needed to record it. Yeah, What surprise! The last clip is also recorded on the same day. What, who knew? Yeah, that's little me as a child. That's, baby me. But that is not the important thing here. The important thing here is I finished a painting and I realized I can't have it all in frame. But here it is. I hope you can hear me, but yeah, you can see. I did a little bit of off-camera painting, and because of the lighting, it looks much darker than it is, but it's not that dark. Again, I wouldn't say it's light either. It's just a decent mix of colors. But yeah, I really enjoyed making this painting. It just worked from the start. Do I have to sneeze? No, don't have to sneeze. Maybe I'll sneeze in a bit. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's simple, but I wouldn't say it's very very deep. It's like it has some, of course, some detail in it, and it has a lot of stuff. I really like this painting. I'm really proud of it. I think it's a great, cool little just portrait. Just really love the colors I've used, and overall, I think it's great. And it was a great canvas that I got for very very cheap. But yeah, if there's anything you'd like to know that I didn't talk about in this video, you can always put down a comment. And if you watched this far, just please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I promised as the very last thing in the video I was gonna show the painting. What? Okay, yeah. So the painting here is about 130, the lengthwise, and 90 centimeters from, the top to the bottom. I used a lot of different colors, some blues and some yellows, and of course some reds, and this like kind of grayish black here. I can't really decide if it's finished or if it's, could use some more. I could do some more, but my dad, he's like, no, don't do anything more. And other people have different, ideas of what I should do. Some people are like, oh, no, you shouldn't do anything more. And other people are like, yeah, it could use a little bit more. So I don't really know. I think the thing I'm most, about is contrast. It's very, very flat right now. But still, I don't know, and I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the painting as it is right now. If I make some changes, I'll show you, of course, and this will also go up on the Instagram. So yeah, I guess that's the very last part. But yeah, bye bye guys, bye.